Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to today's deck profile. Today is my, as you can tell from the thumbnail, my 8-0/16-0 I almost said Infernoble for some reason, but it's actually Invoked Dogmatika Dolls or Shaddolls. It's a 40 card list. And I essentially won 2 locals back to back. Well, the other one wasn't a local, but it was essentially it was a tournament hosted by Yugioh. For those of you who don't know him, he does awesome market watches, so check him out if you haven't already. I'll have that information in the description box below. But I played 2 locals back to back. I went 6-0 in the first one, aka I 2-0'd all my matchups. And then in the other locals, the one that V hosted, I went 5-0, but I 2-0'd every matchup. So technically, this is like an 8-0/16-0 deck, and I don't know, the deck performed so well. I played it all Sunday, which is the day. Which is, I guess this profile will probably be coming out Tuesday. So I guess 2 days ago I played this, and I think it was a really strong deck. I really liked how all 3 engines worked well together. The only time you kind of struggle is when you open up one engine but not the others. But honestly, these cards are all big power cards, so they usually swing tempos in your favor regardless. So yeah, also guys, for those of you who don't know, I recently started a website with Susu, and we created a late night TCG website where we sell Yugioh products. So if you guys are interested in pre-ordering Phantom Rage or pre-ordering the gold maximum gold case, then check that out at latenightTCG.com and order some good stuff from there, guys. And we'll try to do our best to get that out to you as soon as possible. But enough chatting. We're gonna get right into the profile now. So I'll start off with the monsters. We play 1 Ecclesia and then 1 Fleur-de-Lis. So for the Dogma monsters, so a lot of people are asking, why don't you play multiples of this or multiples of Fleur? In reality, all you need is 1. You don't really want to hard open her. You want to hard open the spell. Like hard opening Ecclesia is not as strong as hard opening the spell. And Servant can add back from the graveyard, and that's definitely something that a lot of people miss. So that's why I think you only need 1 of her, because you can just add back from the graveyard. And then 1 Fleur-de-Lis, just because it's the most generic one to main deck, just because it's overall really good. And these 2 cards combined do 5,000 damage to your opponent. So it also, this engine helps you just OTK randomly as well, just because these 2 cards combined do 5,000 damage to your opponent's face. So there's it. Yeah, you just don't need multiples of this, because you don't want to hard open this. You want to hard open the spell, and seeing this doesn't advance your game state in this deck. You want to see the Nadir Servant. Then you play double Alistair. A lot of people might be going wild in the comments right now, be like, yo Pack, what the hell, playing double Alistair, you're crazy, incorrect, all this whatever. But the reason why you play double Alistair is because you don't want to see Alistair. You want to see Meltdown, and that's the reason why I decided to test the Invoked variant in this Dogmatika Dolls deck, is that I wanted to see I wanted to see the power of Meltdown. I don't really care about the Alistair. The Alistair definitely is really strong. It's a really nice normal summon, and you technically have 6 copies of it with the 3 field spell and the terraforming. But in reality, you really don't want to hard open this Alistair. You want to get it off the field spell, and yeah, you kind of lose to draw a little bit more, but you play cards such as Gamma, Call By, and a lot of other cards that punish your opponents if they were to ever draw you on resolution. You can easily swing the tides around with a nice Gamma. You can swing the tides around with the Call By. So I think double Alistair is still okay, even though people play draw. So yeah, 2 is all you need. You have technically still 6 copies, which is fine. There's that. For the Shaddolls cards or Shaddolls monsters, I play double Wendy, double Squamata, and then the 1-ofs, I play 1 Ariel, 1 Hog, 1 Schatten Puppe, Drake, and then 1 Beast. So Wendy is really good because I want to play her at 2, because she is a different attribute Shaddolls monster, and she gets you access to any of these. And then you play 2 Squamata because Squamata fills your graveyard off for Schism. Ariel is a really nice just random 3-card banish in the graveyard. The Hedgehog is really good at either getting you another Shaddolls monster to add hand advantage, which helps you discard for Mechaba, or it searches you a spell and trap when it's set. The Dragon obviously being a really good way to out back row removal. And then you have the Shaddolls Beast, which is Just a really good card to set off Wendy, and if you hard draw it, it's not the worst. It's also like sometimes going off for like the random draw off Construct is really good, or from Beast, because there's a lot of power cards in your deck, so that when you activate the Beast, most of the time you're drawing like really broken cards, especially when you thin your deck out already. So like you can draw into an Nadir Servant, you can draw into like Meltdown, you can draw into like a lot of really good power cards off Shaddolls Beast. So I like still playing one Beast. So that's the monster count for the Shaddolls engine. So we went through the Invoked engine, the Dogmatika engine. Now we're gonna go, and the Shaddolls engine. Now we're gonna go into the hand trap. So we play 3 Ash, 3 Gamma, the 1 of Driver, which is not really a brick anymore because you play Shaddolls and Invoke cards, which lets you actually make use of this. And then you play double Ogre. Honestly, Ogre is like the MVP. This card won me like games, like so many games, because people don't respect it. So I really like Ogre. I think Ogre is like so insane. Yeah, so Ash, the reason why I play Ash is because it's the most generic hand trap against every matchup, so that's why. Gamma, because it's the best hand trap against the mirror, where if they're playing Invoke cards, you can Gamma them. And Gamma is a light monster, which helps. So yeah, there's just like a lot of really good synergy with Gamma in the deck. It also like protects you going first as well, because you're playing more field spells, or like technically 4. You can like Gamma like the Droll, like I was saying, Gamma the Ash, etc, etc. So this card is really strong. And then we play double Ogre, just because I wanted 8 hand traps, which I think is like one of the highest chance to see. I think 70% to see 1, and I like the 70% chance. So if you notice, my Shaddolls engine was also 8 cards. Like as you can see here, my Shaddolls lineup was 8. My hand trap lineup was 8, and the main reason being that 8 is like the highest percent chance to see 1 without giving you chances to see multiple. So that was like also the logic behind that. For the spells, Shaddolls spells first, 3 Shaddolls Fusion, 3 Meltdown. These cards are OP. You guys, I don't really need to explain this, but they're OP when they're with Meltdown. So the reason why Meltdown is so broken is because this deck is very like technically hard to maneuver. Just because you need to understand a lot of rulings and understand a lot of like chain links, understand like timing of when you would use effects, timing when you would Shaddolls Fusion, etc, etc. So but it's definitely a very rewarding deck, and that's the reason why I'm playing it now. And it's like if you notice like the decks I've been playing, such as like Infernoble and like now this, I like to play decks that are rewarding because I like it just feels good to be rewarded for playing well. And this is definitely one of those decks that definitely reward you for understanding the meta game, understanding how your opponent's deck works, understanding how well your deck works too, and it's just a good combination of all of those skills combined. But Yugioh Meltdown, being able to stop your opponents from negating the activation, it also lets you on the resolution of like when a monster refuses something, they can't respond. So like this card is just ridiculous when you combine it with Shaddolls Fusion and El Shaddolls. So that's why like I wanted to play the Invoke cards just for Meltdown, to be honest. If I can play like legit no Alistairs and just Meltdown, I would. Like if they limit Alistair to 1, I'm still playing these cards. These cards like these are just like absolutely insane. And then we play double Invocation, of course. I play 2 because if you notice, like a lot of this is like 8s, right? It's like really weird, but like 8 is like the best ratio to see at least 1 of. So we play 2 Invocation, 3 L, and then 3 Shaddolls, and that's also 8 fusion spells. And Invocation, if you hard draw it, is not a break because you can actually use it, right? So that's why like you can legit draw like Invocation, Driver, and like any random Shaddolls monster, and that's like all of a sudden like a way for you to stop your opponents from playing. And that's why like double Invocation is not bad, even though you're playing double Alistair. So there's that. I definitely would say try it first without knocking. I think like a lot of these ratios will make a lot of sense, as you understand it. 3 Nadir Servant. There's not much to say about this. This literally makes the Dogma engine so broken. This card breaks boards, it builds boards. It's just everything that is ridiculous about a card. Like all these cards you see here are like +2s, right? Like Nadir Servant are +2s. Terraforming is a +2. Meltdown's +2. Shaddolls Fusion, if it resolves with the opponent's extract, is a +2/3. Like these are all like plus cards, right? Like they're all like cards that like gives you like so much advantage, and you need those type of cards in a format where everything is so crazy. So there's that. And then for the last 2 spells, we play one Hoban, aka Upstart Goblin, and then 1 Call By. So we have a 39 card deck. the reason why I don't play like another Alistair, or I don't play like a bunch of other like the third ogre, is because I like Upstart in the sense that if you think about it, like essentially you have a bunch of power cards. When you thin out your deck with Squamata, with Alistair, with Meltdown, with Terraformer, right? The chances of you drawing like a huge, like another part of your engine, like you have 3 engines in the deck, and when, like I said, when you see 1, it's not that good. When you see 2, it's pretty good, but when you see 3, you're broken. Like it's just absolutely ridiculous. And this card lets you have a higher chance to see 3 pieces of your engine. So if you see Dogma, Shaddolls, and Invoked, you pretty much FTK your opponent, and that's like basically what Upstart does for the deck, because the Dogma card, the Shaddolls cards thin out your deck, the Invoke cards thin out your deck, and then the same thing with so then when you activate Upstart, you have like all of a sudden 30 cards in your deck, and you have a higher chance to see your big power cards. And then 1 of Call By, because it's good against Miss going first. It's like a nice little trap going first, and then going second, it's like not the worst. You can like Call By like Heretic Seal, and Call By the Herald. So this card is still like really good. I definitely really like Call By. It won me a game against Dinos, like in the 8-0 streak that I went on. And then of course the last 2 traps, we play 1 Punishment and then 1 Schism. So that's it for the 40 card main deck, or 39 depending on how you look at it. There's not much to say about this. These cards are crazy. Punishment is like definitely like kind of, it hurts to activate, but in a way it also gets access to engine for you when you like are really struggling. And then Schism is just the most ridiculous trap card in the game. So that's it for the main deck, 40 cards. For the side, I'll do 1 Maximus. I side this in going second or first against combo, just because this card just does so much against combo decks. It's just ridiculous because their extra deck doesn't have enough space. So it's like another card we can like search off of. 3 Nibiru against combo, because you want to have a little more like 11 hand traps post side against combo. 3 Lancia for the mirror match. Dragon Link is kind of okay. It's good against Outlick. Lancia is just overall like a really good card, and it's also a light monster. So yeah, that's about it. 3 Cosmics for glue decks, Harpy Feather Duster, and Lightning Storm. So basically 5 forms of back removal. That's pretty much like the logic I have right there. So Cosmics is really good against the mirror too, because when you Cosmic Cyclone in standby phase, you play around Shadow Rook. And yeah, this card is like really strong for that reason. Also, being a chainable card is really good, because if you go first, you can like activate this and chain it to their Meltdown, so they don't go like Meltdown is literally miscellaneous storage for the deck. So if you play the mirror, you want to like Cosmic, you want to get rid of their field spell as soon as possible, because the miscellaneous source effect is just ridiculous in terms of like whatever. Lightning Storm, Harpy, I mean generic. And then the last 3 cards I play is 3 Super Poly. I mean, there's not much to say about this. This card is like really good against the mirror. You can like Super Poly your opponent's Alistair, Super Poly their board. And this card outs Dragoon, and so I wanted a way to like beat Dragoon. But I realized I might cut this, because you kind of just beat Dragoon anyways with the Alistair deck. Because Meltdown and Activate Shadow Fusion can just like beat Dragoon. You can get Schism, and Dragoon can negate Schism, and you send Dragoon, and then you just win. So I might cut this. I like this card was like kind of underwhelming in the 8 rounds I played today, just because I don't think you need it. I don't know what I'll play yet. I still have to test a little bit more, but it's like 3 more flex spots for the side deck, so that's kind of nice. All right, extra deck. 3 Shadow Construct, literally Bay. You want to have as many cards in your extra deck for Schism as much as possible. Like with Schism, you burn through your extra deck really fast, so I like the 3rd Construct for that. And then we have 2 Winda, and then 2 Apclone. You just want a 2nd copy. They come up a lot, so that's pretty much it. You can make double Winda going first, and then double Apclone comes up, because you send one off Punishment, and Nadir Servant, and then you want to have another one to like actually hard make. For the Invoke extra deck cards, I only play 2 Mechaba and the Auguries. I cut Purgatrio. That card just never came up. Like Purgatrio was just like, if you make Purgatrio, you're usually already winning in that game state. So you don't need that. But then I played the 1 Auguries because under Meltdown, this card is literally a Trident that they can't respond to. It also gets like to like all of a sudden like 4,500, 4,800. So this card just outs Dragoon too. It gets like insanely huge for like no reason. And this card is basically like, this card is basically Mech Purgatrio if you think about it, because it's like it's a card that helps you OTK, and it gets really big. Like you banish a fusion and it just goes up to like 5k and you just like kill your opponent. Like you go summon under Meltdown effect, pop, and then kill your opponent. I mean, this card hasn't come up for me yet. Like I legit haven't summoned this card once, but in theory, like it's really strong card. I just never needed to summon for me. Links 1 Lambda. If you open up double Gamma and you Gamma when they Joel you, this card is just like broken. It's also like a light monster that's a link too, which is really important. Almirage, Gravity Controller, and then Secure Garna. These are the rest of the link ones. This is basically for the invoked portion of the deck, and then the Gravity Controller is for the Shaddolls engine. You actually use all of these, so it's really important that you have them. I make these links all the time. And then the last card in extract, the 15th slot, is Intis. Intis helps you break board with punishment. So this is like basically the one card for the Dogma engine. But then the cool thing about the Dogma engine is like the Shaddolls cards work really well with them, like App Clone. So yeah, just one Intis is good enough just to like break your opponent's board. It's a very consistent list. It's a very a really strong list, and that's like the power of this deck, man. 40 cards, just pure gas. All these cards are plus cards. Meltdown is ridiculous. Your opponent can't respond. I remember my opponent had like a crazy field up. He had his own Mechaba set up, but then I just went Shadow Fusion because I had Meltdown on the field, and he kind of gave it with Mechaba. I summoned App Clone. I sent like Wendy, a Dragon, and summoned App Clone. I called all my chain links, and he tried to Veiler me and he couldn't. And then I just negated his Mechaba. I popped his back row, which was a Solemn Judgment. And yeah, it was just game over from there. Like that's just how crazy Shadow Fusion is, and Magical Meltdown is going second. But anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for the deck. If you guys are interested about my matchup, check me out at twitch.tv/pack_official_tcg. You guys can find the VOD there, so you can see me like do this live. Yeah, man, this deck is really fun. Give this deck a try, and let me know in the comment section below, guys, if this deck worked out for you, if you bought the deck, and if you do, use my TCG affiliate code. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, thank you so much for your support. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.